What's happening, everyone? And welcome to the November 5th edition, November 6th edition of Systems Lab Live. We are officially back in business despite the two live streams that we had in the past couple of weeks. Those were considered off-cycle live streams. This, my friends, kicks off the brand new series of the Next Gen Digital PM Session 2. We're talking all things. What is the question of the hour? Okay. Which is, what does it take? What does it take to be a next gen digital PM? And so we're going to be exploring lots of different topics, including from the three core areas: leadership, strategy, and execution, as well as my own 9-point PM system. Logo community, not sure yet. We're going to put a pin on the logos. We'll put a pin on that. But thank you for joining. Logos are projects as well. And for those of you that are tuning in for the very first time for the Systems Lab Live, this is what we do here each and every single week. We break down key topics and concepts relating to leading projects, managing teams, and developing processes. Okay, this is where you come. This is where you come. This is where you come. And we gather here together. There's so much that is going on. So some of the things that we're going to be discussing in this particular series, and actually, I actually did this. Yeah, it was last week. Yes, it was. It was actually last Wednesday when I did the whole preview of what we're doing for this entire series, which is we're going to be talking about what does it mean to define a project strategy. We're going to talk about risk management. We're going to talk about leadership development and everything in between. And in fact, one of the things that we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk about emotional intelligence. Yes, emotional intelligence, which is quite exciting. I'm going to get into the topic in just a few minutes because we actually have a couple things that we want to do today. Our focus for today is we're going to be talking through the Slack State of Work, Chapter 1, and then we're going to go straight into emotional intelligence and why that is a direct connection to project outcomes and developing team culture and everything in between. A few things that I would love to know from you all is, what are you all up to in terms of end of the year projects? What y'all working on? Tell me. Let's talk about all the things. What's happening in Black podcasting? Good to see you. Great to see you. Yeah, what you're working on. It would be good to know so we can talk about it throughout the whole live stream, and also questions you may have on emotional intelligence. We're going to get into why this is so important in just a minute. But I did want to share something fun with you all today. I saw something newsworthy. But before we kind of get into that, my calendar is open for one-on-one coaching and consulting. Yes, you can grab a spot November and or December where we can talk. We can go over your last project. We can go over a current project. We can also go through all things ClickUp, and we can actually go through your strategy. We can go through putting together a communications plan. We can talk about how to actually respond well and developing a personal development plan, which is actually one of the strategies that we'll be talking about tonight in this aspect of emotional intelligence. So definitely want you all to tap into that. If you are looking at live stream via LinkedIn or YouTube, I have the little show notes there. And then Instagram, boop, boop, available. Link is right in the bio, or you can just DM PM Strategy, and I can also send you a link. But it's exciting. It's exciting to be able to meet one-on-one with you all, talk about your projects, talk about what you're thinking about, talk about how you can be gearing up for the next year. And in fact, I just really call this weekly meeting of the minds really our time of skills building and professional development. That's why I think of it. That's me. That's just how I'm thinking about the whole thing. That's how I'm thinking about the whole thing. So podcast season is approaching. Podcast season is approaching. The planning season is underway. It is called Built from Scratch. It's an exciting time where I'm going to be interviewing people on what they're building and how they've built it from scratch. And then we're also going to walk through a case study of building from scratch. I think this is really important in the day and age of people creating, people innovating, people coming up with things from their brain. Oftentimes we see the success in the interviews, but I want to interview people who are actually doing it right now, who don't have the finished product. That, my friends, is going to be so good, so incredible. So we have some invites out now, waiting to schedule some people. I have to record, which I was supposed to do Friday, but then I moved it to Saturday. And if I think about it, time and scheduling, I probably can do it on Friday. I'm going to have to do it, and I'm going to have to really, really, really make the commitment. It's on the ClickUp schedule. Jamie Jordan is in the building. Good to see you, Jamie. But yes, we're going to record one of my solo episodes for Built from Scratch, and we're going to be talking about some of the fundamentals of what it means to build something from scratch. I love it. It's going to be really good. Also, in terms of focus and productivity, for me, I've created a new little playbook. It's kind of like an enhanced checklist, but really it allows me every week, a part of my weekly routine. So for those of you that don't know, I do have a weekly routine where it's like Sunday planning. I go through my calendar, I open up my ClickUp, I go put in the key tasks so I understand what I'm going to be doing each day. And then and then I just build out what's happening. But I wanted to take it a step further and really create this form. It's not really a form, but it's really like a little doc that I fill out each week. And it's essentially a weekly focus tracker. What it is, it encompasses everything from career to business to spiritual to where else? Yeah. Uh, all the things, right? It's like different areas. And I asked a really core question. All right. The core question is like, where is God leading me this week? Where are some of the things that I need to be focused on? I think that's really important to do. And I just write down a few things. Some of them are tasks, some of them are just thoughts. You may not always have everything for every area, but I think it's really good. I even wrote down people I need to get in touch with. Sometimes I just forget. Sometimes you just forget. And sometimes it's good to go back and refer back to it. Thank you so much, Jamie. Just trying to it's really about discipline. We talked about that in the bricklayers community a lot. It's about discipline. And many people, they kind of run away from the aspect of like, we need systems. It's like, you do, it's biblical, it's all up in the Bible. There was not a system that was not built that people were not thriving, right? Everything from Noah's Ark, Joshua fought the Battle of Jericho, all the things in between, systems, all of it. So that's what we have going on there. We'll preview that sometime later so you guys can kind of maybe see that. Something newsworthy is that Xbox has promoted or appointed, that's the right word, Sarah Bond. She makes history as the first Black woman who is president of Xbox. I mean, it's noteworthy. I think that is quite noteworthy. And what does that mean? What does that mean is that, especially when we talk about with the Systems Lab Live, and we talk all about the projects and the things that go on. Um, you know, this is someone who's, has become a visionary for Xbox, someone that is going to be leading, business development, partner management, everything in between. Okay. Apparent and this is why it's so important to know the breadth and the depth and the width of project management. You already know, all up in Xbox, okay? This is Project Central, okay? The fact that they're going to redesign a diskless Xbox next year and a next gen hybrid console in 2028. Can we say major project? Major project. All right. I would love to know, and I'm just going to do a quick little Google search. Xbox project manager, because I already know they got a uh technical project manager. Look at that. Senior critical, right up in there. Program manager jobs, all up in Xbox. Look at this. I'm going to switch right here. Look at this, folks. A senior critical environment program manager. I'm not even sure what that is. I know I'm in a little bit of a rabbit hole, but it is important, as we know, this is a technology corporation and things. But just think about where project management can take you. So if you have an engineering background, you got a technical background, all these things, the door is open, people. The door is open. So that was just a quick little thing just to share. But I'm going to share this tab instead. She'll oversee player and creator experiences as well. Okay. Platform engineering, strategy, business planning, data and analytics. So this is really, 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 really sweet. So congrats to her. Congrats to her. Next up, great people, we're going to be talking about Slack and the state of work report. Okay, Slack and the state of work report. Let's stop the share. I wonder if we can share this. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. We got the Slack state of work report, which we are going to walk through today. And the state of work report was released in 2019 with a focus on how to align effectively around a shared mission. We know in 2019, the way in which we work, we were in the offices, we were using cars in the highways and traveling on planes and using commuter city transportation and whatnot, going to and fro to work and to other aspects of our lives. So the state of work was very different. In fact, you could even get away with even being a bit more siloed in the work that you did. Fast forward to 2023, where just in a few short years, there is a report that Slack has come out with where they are focusing on a few things. They are looking at productivity, efficiency, and visibility. There is this big question in the past few years of how do we measure productivity? Some may argue that, do we even need to measure productivity? I think the case of measuring productivity and efficiency um, really helps with, from an executive level perspective, this aspect of who to hire, who to fire, um, what type of buildings and office spaces do we need, the bottom line when it comes to the work itself, and how much money that we're bringing in, expenses, and everything in between. I believe those are key contributing factors. What's so interesting about this particular um, report is that they have surveyed executives and non-executives as well. It seems as if that we have more from the executive, maybe even director or team leader perspective. It's unclear if there is an element of, just kind of like team members and PMs and, those types of non-leadership based roles. But we're going to walk through this particular report through the executive summary. Work disrupted executive summary in chapter 1. We'll summarize some key points and then I'll pull out some things for us to discuss. In this particular summary, or this particular opening statement from the CEO, Lydianne Jones, she's really talking about what we just said a few minutes ago about pre-pandemic life, where some of us were headed towards that remote work and hybrid work. Some companies were already there, but that has definitely accelerated globally for the past few years, where we're in the uncharted territory of experimenting with how do we communicate better with our customers, our clients, our employees, or team members. How do we do this thing called work better? How do we become more efficient? We know that the lives of everyone are drastically different. And so the way in which we're approaching work in a digital first work era, especially with the onslaught of new types of technologies and tools like artificial intelligence, now we are in a new frontier. Okay, so how do we do the work? How do we drive success? How do we measure productivity? And so um, this is really interesting from the CEO's perspective, really looking at how do we redesign work? How do we redesign the way in which we can still meet the mission of an organization without overburdening our current team members and everyone who is working really hard to get it all done. Okay. So there is a lot to discuss. There's a lot to unpeel. I think the conversation about, return to work, X, Y, and Z, I think there is a lot, a lot to discuss and a lot to still unpack. I think, really at this point, I think where we're really at is um, how do we, again, bridge the gap between the way in which we are communicating and how are we centralizing our information and whatnot. I think that is also really important as well. Um, yeah. So I think that is really, really good. I think this is really good. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about more of the report. Okay. Who we surveyed. All right. Okay, cool. They surveyed, okay, Slack, a Salesforce company, conducted this global survey in partnership with the research firm Qualtrics between February 24th and March 21st, 2023. Total sample size was 18,149,000 desk workers and executives across a range of sectors in the following countries: US, Australia, France, Germany, UK, India, Singapore, Japan, South Korea. So they're referring to executives and leaders, presidents, partners, C suites, Managers, people level managers ranging from team leads to VP led leads. Okay, so that is important for us to know who they surveyed. And then independent contributors, analysts, graphic designers, and developers. We'll put desk workers also in the PM role as well. Let's see. Inside the executive summary, let me see if I had any notes on that. Okay, cool. I did want to make a point of looking at looking at these stats right here in the executive summary, okay, where 63% of people make an effort to keep their status active online, even if they're not working at the moment. 53% feel pressure to respond to messages quickly, even if they're sent after hours. 50% feel pressured to let their colleagues know they're being at work and productive. So this is really interesting too, because to me, this really speaks to the culture of an organization. The pressure to A, feel productive, be productive, and appear to be productive. Okay. I think this is really good. I think this is very, very interesting for us to really start to peel back here, right? Let's see what else they're saying here. Yeah, so that's an interesting aspect of it. What else they're saying? AI and automation promise to turbo efficiency, but leaders are missing major opportunities to use them for their full potential. So I think this is interesting because AI has been around for ever and ever, but the repackaging of it and the reimagining of it inside of productivity tools and things of that nature really has caught fire within the past 8, 9, 10 months. And so I don't know if we're missing the full I don't know if I don't know if leaders are really missing major opportunities to use them in the full potential, or is it the fact that we need to understand how to best use the tools in our workflow? That's just me. This is I see it because, to be honest, like if you think about it, for instance, like Loom. Loom has great AI capabilities like summary chapters and title chapters and things like that. But if that is something that's going to be critical, I think, to the workflow and critical to the impact of how you're getting your work done, then yeah, I would say that A, it's an investment, but B, I just believe that you need to make sure that whatever tool that you get, that you make it make sense for what you're doing with your work. I think it's the same thing with ClickUp. I think it's the same thing with any other tool that has AI. Um, I just think that when we're talking about turbocharging efficiency, you got to look at your current workflow and making sure that AI is the right opportunity for you to use it. So if you're in a marketing agency, if you're in, yeah, and if you're, especially now, the content creators out here in these streets, they're already full fledged with podcasting and all the things, all the tools that they can use um, to go about producing their content. The same thing would the same thing applies. Documenting a workflow, putting in SOPs, shout out to the digital Jane. Um, Doing all of these things are super helpful. If you have your workflow in place, if you have it documented, I believe you can be able to plug and play where the AI and these tools can be utilized. Let's see what else. What else did they say? The most productive employees were surveyed are far more likely to be automating their workflows compared with their less productive counterparts. That's right. That's right. Leaders have a real opportunity to help employees stay motivated regardless of when or where they're working. The most productive employees tend to work in organizations with higher tech adoption and generous amount of flexibility in when and where they work. Okay. Okay. Great. Oh, I see what they're saying. Terms they will use in this report: 51% of productive workers rate themselves more productive now than pre-productive, and non-productive is 49% less than productive. I wonder if there is an age thing with that. I wonder if there's an age aspect to this. All right. Um, what's interesting about this, folks? Ooh, let me ask business leaders what's keeping them up at night, and 71% will tell you they're in immense pressure from their company management to squeeze more productivity out of their team. Executive actions during the economic downturn is 43% is budget reduction, freezing new hires, and 37% is pivoting our business strategy. So doing more with less. That's the whole thing. Doing more with less, folks. That's the name of the game, which I find to be quite interesting, because the aspect of doing more with less, I would think that you would need to invest in tools and with people to be more efficient. Now, when you start factoring in the coming into work and all of these different types of things, and folks get to wondering, do I really need to be here? Okay? Because sometimes it just makes you wonder, especially from a productivity perspective. Okay, what are they saying here? Oops. Doing more with less is imperative during precarious economy, and organizations across all industries find themselves right in the middle. So when there is an economic downturn due to budget restrictions, pivoting in business, or freezing new hires, now it's like, what do we do? How do we still maintain the level of productivity, the aspect of meeting our mission, and everything in between, the pressures of making it? How do we do it? How do we do it, folks? Okay? How do we do it? And, we're finding out that companies are overlooking opportunities to embrace new ways of working. They're not taking advantage of automation and AI. They're stuck in their old ways. Are people really stuck in their old ways, or have we not properly introduced the concept of what's happening and why it's important? Possibly. Maybe it's a little bit of both. Strong communication is one of the best skills that individuals can develop. I agree. Yep. Strong communication can, for sure. Can I okay. Strong communication is, yeah. I'm not beefing on that one. Okay, y'all. Hold on one second. Okay. How executives primarily measure productivity? Ooh, because this is really the big thing here. What do we mean exactly by measuring productivity? Achieving KPIs, visibility, cost metrics. That's what they care about. How desk workers want to be measured: hours spent, achieving KPIs, and conversations with managers. Interesting. So I want to know the work is getting done, visibility. I want to know that because we're measuring, and the cost. How much is it costing us? Rather, desk workers want to know, hey, it's by how many hours that I spend on a task? 18 hours. Now they do share the KPIs. If I'm hitting my goals, I want to know. And also conversations with managers, the intangibles. The intangibles. Okay, we are going to, I did not realize. Oh no, we're in chapter 1. Okay, I'm sorry. See, this is the issue at hand. Hold on, everybody. Okay. Let's stop because we were just a jumping and a jumping. Okay. What else are they saying in here? Well, based on our data, most executives rely heavily on visibility and activity metrics, with 27% using these as their top overall productivity measure. Okay. That there's cause to believe that top-down monitoring doesn't actually increase productivity. I would agree. We have no direct correlation between employees feeling pressure to be seen doing performative work and real measurable gains in what's being produced. That's it right there. Anyone can game a single metric, so you must consider a blend of leading and lagging indicators. Yep. The lagging indicator is what happened. It's reading the news. And if you look at it in isolation, it's not very helpful. Whereas leading indicators give you a proactive look at the speed and progress the company is making. So, yes. So we have this tension, folks. We have this tension. We have this tension where we are really looking at from that perspective the measuring of productivity, what it means from a top down perspective, and then what it means for a desk worker perspective, that individual contributor. So I also think it's a values thing too. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. All right, let's get to it, y'all. We got to talk about getting emotional. Come on. In my email that I had to my email community, in which you can subscribe to my email list. Absolutely. You can definitely do that. That's in the it's in the show notes, folks. But in my email list, I talk about Whitney Houston's I Get So Emotional. Why was I talking about that? Because when I think about what it takes to be a next gen PM, I think about leadership, strategy, and execution. I talk specifically about, from a leadership perspective, how we as project leaders have to be able to show temperance, show self-control, be able to manage our emotions, because we are at the front lines of projects, tasks, deadlines, people, Slack pings, ClickUp notifications, trying to do the work, getting interrupted, phone calls, Zoom meetings, and everything in between. And our emotional intelligence directly affects the projects you're working on. And because we're in the project economy, where businesses, organizations, brands are pursuing and centralizing their work on projects, things are moving. We're seeing CEOs wanting to do CEO-like things, and therefore the project managers having the leadership skills to be able to make decisions, to be able to lead a team, lead out the projects, and be able to do that in such a way where it's, I guess you would say, flawless, effortless, is a necessity. So that's what we're talking about here today. Emotional intelligence. Here's one of my little favorite things that I like to, talk about right up in here, which is people make projects. Projects solve problems for people. People are at the center, and they are central to the process. Okay? So first things first, people make projects. Projects solve problems for people. People are central to the process. Hope y'all be feeling me on this, because for me, that was good. Okay? That was real good. Let me see if I can I was gonna grab something. We don't need to grab it. Do we need to grab it? I wanted to draw something. Here's my little drawing thingy. Hold on. I don't think we have it. That's okay. I have to think of how to do that. I got encouraged and just I got inspired to do something really cool. But yeah. Okay. So we're in an environment where people and projects, okay, they affect people. They affect people. So why wouldn't the emotional intelligence piece come into play? Why wouldn't it come into play? Well, and it's my belief that projects require dynamic and excellent leaders, which includes the attributes, but not limited to self-awareness, stewarding time, talents, and resources, accountability, and empathy. Okay. So let's break this down, which is defining emotional intelligence. What I'd love to do is also in the chat too, tell me about your in particular journey with emotional intelligence. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you on that point. Okay. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah, I do want to grab something really quickly because I think I can do that. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay. Let me, because I didn't want to, you just want to just feel a drawn spirit. Because I think that is super, super important for us to understand. So, let's talk about it. Emotional intelligence. What is it? It's defined as the ability to understand and manage your emotions as well as recognize and influence the emotions of those around you. It's coined in 1990 by researchers John Mayer, Peter Salovey, but was later popularized by psychologist Daniel Goleman. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about this emotional intelligence, this EQ. See, I'm gonna tell you right here, right now. I didn't really know that much. I'm writing something on the format. I didn't really know too much about EQ. I'm gonna tell you, my leadership development journey was 4 years ago. I started with Breathe University. Shout out to Breathe University. I met some incredible people, and I knew as I was I wouldn't say climbing. I was growing. I applied for a leadership development program, and I just felt I needed something different. You feel me? Like I needed to be challenged. You know what I'm saying? I needed to be challenged. I needed to be challenged. And so, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. I need to be challenged. So one of the things I did was I took the DISC assessment. And we'll talk about that at the end. But I took the DISC assessment. Let's see. Project solve problems. Yep. Yeah. So that's what I did, folks. You know what I'm saying? I really needed to. Can I rename this? Yes, I want to rename this as Systems Lab Live. Okay. Yeah, so I wanted to draw this out. Okay, here we go. And then can I share it? I wanted to share this with y'all. I don't know if this really kind of makes a difference or not, but yeah, I just wrote that on the iPad. And you know, my point is right here is in why I wrote this out like so is because I'm just trying to make the one for y'all to understand is that this right here is super important for us to understand what's happening. Okay. And why the emotional intelligence piece is super important because our ability to sense, to understand, manage, and apply information and the power of emotions as our greatest source of energy, motivation, connection, and influence. That's the second EQ definition. But we have to understand how to manage our emotions. We got to be able to do that. Okay? Because we can influence, we can use our power, our emotions to move and make things happen. And I just believe because we are in a day and age in the project economy right now, right here, right now, that the level in which that we lead as project leaders are going to be instrumental in 2024. It was already instrumental in 2023, but it's going to be instrumental in 2024. The way in which that we're going about our meetings, how we respond to people, okay? All of it, okay? And that's point number 2, which is you need EQ to manage your team, your clients, your leaders, and projects. All right? How's this going? How's this going, people? How are we feeling about the things? Right? Right. Let me pull something else up too. I feel like I want to write something else up for you guys. So we can just draw it on the screen and just be live with it. But let's talk in the comments about what do you know about your own EQ? What do you know about your own EQ? I think that's important to know. What do you know about it? Okay. What y'all know about your own EQ? So when we talk about, the need to manage our team, our clients, and our projects, like we need it. We need to understand our own emotional intelligence for that particular point. We absolutely need to. So when I was reviewing this Harvard, what is it called? Harvard Business School, online article. We're talking about, why the lack of EQ can make or break your projects. But let's take it a step back and just get into like why we need EQ. Why we need EQ, because we do live again in a day and age where there is just a lot to be there's a lot to be done. Okay, there's a lot that's going on. There is a lot in terms of deadlines. There is a lot going on in terms of the way that which we are, serving our clients and things. There is much to be going on. Decisions that need to be made. I tell you what. Okay? You know what I'm saying? it is really, really good. Now, they done upgraded me to GoodNotes 6. We don't even know why we upgraded to GoodNotes 6. App is restarting now. Click here if it didn't redirect you. Ooh, this is just I don't even know what to say at this point. Very good for unlimited notebooks. Okay. Well, I was just gonna 7-day and then $9.99 after the first year. Oh, okay. Well, 7-day free trial and then $9.99 the year after, or one-time payment of $24. Okay. Well, we can let's just do this first, people, and then we can bring it up. Okay. So we want to talk about the different scenarios in which your emotional intelligence, where you're going to use that. Okay. And let's talk about even just, here's what I love. I'm going to talk about the, what is it called? The emotions wheel. Shout out to the emotions wheel. This is something that the good Aisha Thomas, she put us all on game on the emotions wheel. This is like fascinating, y'all. The emotions wheel. I'm gonna pull it up for y'all. Okay. I had a really good blog post to post on LinkedIn, and we can review that too. Look at this emotion wheel, y'all. Okay, so here we go. So for this emotion wheel, look at this. Look at all these emotions. If you're happy, but let's go deeper. Playful, content, cheeky, courageous, sensitive. If you're scared, you could feel helpless, frightened, betrayed, resentful, disgusted. Look at that. Awful, repelled. All of this right here. All of these emotions. Oh, can y'all see this? Let me just go in. Let me just go in. Go in right here so y'all can see what's going on, Crystal. It's good to see you. Congratulations on engagement, right? Come on, come through. The wheel. How do we understand our emotions? Shout out to Brene Brown. Shout out to Aisha Thomas for putting me on Atlas of the Heart. The definitions of all of these emotions. Because we may need to come back to this little wheel when we get an email from a client. We may get a Slack ping, and we may need to go back here and be able to point out what these emotions are. But I said in my LinkedIn post today, I said to myself, oftentimes we get into this habit of, let's just keep it real. You know what I'm saying? Let's just go and, go on and just, keep it all the way real. Right. And so I think the question then becomes of how much honesty do we actually really need to have? I think what often happens is that we want to be honest, like we want to have our Jessica Pearson moment. Hello, somebody. We want to have a Jessica Pearson moment, but we don't know where the words land after we have Jessica Pearson moment. Okay? Because sometimes the keeping it 100 piece is not conducive to the project and the culture. I'm gonna put it out there. This is just what's going to help us, right? Because we got to strategically use our EQ when we're communicating, because that's going to be number one. We communicate. We are like the not fire marshals, firefighters of communication. Okay, we're the firefighters all day, every day. Firefighters. Okay. It is so funny, side note, that the Good Notes people, they have so many of these like digital thingies. Okay, and I just want a little quick note, really, that I can put on here. Can I change the page though? This is funny. I don't want to outline. But I wanted to write something on here, y'all, so y'all can have the so y'all can have it here, and I can show it to you all. But yeah, you know, we have to be able to, I think, get more of an understanding of where does our emotions land when we want to keep it real and keep it 100. Who's following? Who's following? Who has something to say in the comments as I set this little page up? Clear page. Who has it? Anybody? Y'all good? Everybody good on this? Okay. You can do blank paper. Okay. Oh, this is cool because you can do white. I love it. And then you can change the, ooh, that's cool. I'm getting real excited that I'm in my Good Notes app and I get to show y'all. Okay. That's cool. The first point I wanted to make is we know that EQ, if we define EQ, we want to define EQ. And really, we said for our EQ, we said this is the ability to sense, understand, and manage emotions. So basically, EQ is all about the management. This is all about the management and how we sense emotion. Okay. Beautiful. We have to strategically use. We must strategically. We must strategically use EQ. I'm going to show you my screen in a minute. Or can we? You know what I'm about to do? Let's I'm going to stop the screen. And can I share my screen? Oh, I don't think I can share. I don't think I can share what's on the iPad, right? I don't think so. I just wanted to share something really quickly. Display. Uh-oh. Let's see what happens, people. No, I don't want to link the keyboard. Nope. You couldn't. Yeah, wouldn't be able to do that. That's okay. So the second point is EQ is strategic. EQ is strategic. We have to understand the how and the when. And then 2, lack of EQ can can make or break projects. Cool. All right. Cool. So, oh. That's pretty cool. Mirror. Oh, that's pretty cool. Presentation mode. Okay. That's cool. So that's what we're looking at right here, right? Those are the 3 big points. We've defined EQ so far. Okay. It's how we manage and how we sense emotion. Number 2, EQ is strategic. It's strategic. And number 3, lack of EQ can make or break your projects. Okay. And we also saw this little wheel too, which was awesome. You gotta get into the wheel, folks. You gotta get into the wheel. It's super important. Okay. Now, something else I wanted to kind of speak to. How do we hack the EQ? How do we hack this thing of EQ? And does anyone have questions and or comments thus far? Because I think that's super important for us to know. Any questions that y'all have so far, put them in the comments. Also DM me, because it would be fun to, I think, talk through this, walk through this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that would be super, super good. Oh, disconnect. Okay. That was interesting. Oh, you know what I was trying to do? Good people. When I was trying to do the mirroring, I was trying to, because I actually wasn't, I think that what I was really trying to do, it wasn't the displays in the mirroring. It was push the edge of the display near a Mac. Okay, I gotcha. Okay. Okay, cool. Very, very good. So, I was going to put this also in, where's that Freeform app? I wonder if you can import it in here. Okay. We're just testing out some things in this live stream because I felt like super, super inspired right now. Not in the Notability app, but we'll just save the image like so. And I'm going to see if it's in that Freeform app, if you can pull it up. Probably not. That's okay. That's okay. That is quite all right. So let's talk about hacking. Okay, let's talk about the hack, shall we? I think it's really important when we talk about hacking EQ. So first and foremost, let's talk about one of my faves. Okay, let's talk about self-awareness. Okay, let's talk about self-awareness. That's number 1. I want to put this also on the screen as well. Let me show you, because I want y'all to kind of see the notes as we are kind of walking and talking. And why is, oops, let me do that. I actually meant to, erase. Okay, here we go. I love how we're doing a little OT, people. No, that's not it. Here we go. And self-awareness. which is your friend. Self-awareness is your friend. Why is it your friend? Because this is where you can really know thyself and know it well. It's at the core of everything. It understands your strengths. It understands where you're kind of, oh, I'm okay at something. But it also is a great ability for you to recognize your own emotions and how you can manage them. Okay. Self-awareness is everything. Do you know about rolling your eyes? Do you know about your triggers? Do you know how you responded to your triggers? All of this, people, all of this. Okay? Super, super important. Super, super important. What else? What else? What else should we also understand? And again, when I was talking and getting myself, it was back in 2018 when I really started to get an understanding of self-awareness in who I was. I was like, you know what? I got to become more self-aware of my attitude, of my actions, of my behaviors. And what helped me was disc assessment. Okay? Disc assessment. Super helpful. Disc assessment is okay. Shout out to being able to stretch things out, because I was like struggling over here. Disc assessment, okay? So good, folks. Okay, disc assessment. Should we bring that up? Maybe next month. Disc assessment is very important. This is where it helps you to understand who and what you are. We might as well, right? We might as well. So for me, I am a 88S 81I. What else am I? I love how I don't know who I am. Let's see. Let's go back here. Boop, 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 boop. Let's see. Which one is me? Is this one it? Well, I'm trying to go back, y'all. So I'm trying to make sure that I have the right one. Can I go with the one that I modified? Maybe it's this one. Not the values one. No, there was one where I had I have this one where it's essentially the same one. It's just in a different type of format. But I want the one with the numbers. Yeah, I really wanted the one with the numbers. Really. Let me see. I'm trying to still find that one. But that's fine. It was 88S 81I. That was what that is. And then S is more of, I think I just found it. Yes, I did. And why is it okay. Yeah, this is what this is. 88 88S 81I. What does that mean, great people? Well, I'm gonna tell you what it means. I am gonna tell you what it means. It's stabilizing. It's how I tend to pace things in my environment. Interactive is how I tend to interact with others and share opinions. Problems, how I tend to approach problems and make decisions. And procedures, my preference for establishing protocols. So the D is decisive, and that is at a whopping, let's go here, at a whopping 17. And then the C is at a 67. Okay? Fascinating, right, people? I tell you what. I tell you what. I tell you what. So, yeah. So for me, like the top 5 attributes for me is patient, predictable, passive, complacent, and stable. And then a high I is gregarious, persuasive, inspiring, enthusiastic, and sociable. And then I'm a low D, okay, which means that I am inquisitive, conservative, mild, agreeable, deliberate. Yeah, I'm deliberate in my decision making. I'm a little bit on the slower side of that. Cautious. So high C, I'm cautious, perfectionist, systematic, careful, and analytical. All day, every day. That's very true. Now, here's the thing. It's not good or bad. Shout out to the Waymakers and the disc assessment that Dewan Matunga that he provides, that training, because the disc assessment is not good or bad. Okay. But it is about the self-awareness journey. And so when you are in places and spaces where you are leading out projects and teams, you need to know thyself and know it well. Know yourself and study yourself. Okay. And that was really my yeah, that was my second point. The first point was self-awareness. The second one was study thyself. Take the disc assessment, study yourself, know yourself, know your triggers, know your habits. That is really important. Okay. Know how in which you respond to things. What's beautiful about this is that I was in a great work environment where I had 2 great coworkers. It was the 3 of us. We're a trio, but we could have very real conversations about the way in which we would talk to one another, how we were in meetings, and we would give each other feedback, how we should approach situations, what we should say, how we should say things, right, wrong, or indifferent. We had that level of accountability, and it was beautiful. It was great. Why is that important? It's important for you to be in a trusted circle of people, and I didn't write that down, but I should have. Being able to be in a trusted circle of people is very important as well. Let me go up here. Where are we? Trusted circle. Okay. Trusted circle. Hold on. Okay, y'all can see that. Trusted circle. That's going to be really important. Can I rename this really quickly? Thank you. Okay. EQ leadership. So I feel like we may need to come back to this. What is this today? 11/6. Okay. All right. So having a trusted circle of people, instrumental. So when I had my and so that grew me a lot. That just grew me a lot. I think also too, having and seeking out mentorship was also really good, where I could get perspective. I could start getting perspective on how I was approaching situations, how I was in the wrong, how I need to change my attitude. You can't do, you can only get so far with the self-assessment, just self-assessing your own self, right? It's good to have another perspective. Last but not least, folks, this is something that I think is pivotal, which is creating a PD plan. This is so good. Creating a PD plan. I think this is just the bomb.com. Okay, come on, symbols. You better come on, symbols. Creating a PD plan. Can we move this up? I think we can. So what do we mean by that? That means creating a plan in which you can study yourself, right? Where are you going to grow? Where are you going to grow? I'll show y'all this because I thought this was pretty stupendous. Is this in, wait a minute. Where am I? I'm going to tell you one thing that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I'm going to show you something, y'all, that's going to be pretty out of this world. I think it's pretty cool. Let me show y'all something. Let me show you something. I'm going to show it to you. And you going to like it. You going to like it. Come through Coda. Love me a good Coda app. So this is actually a my PD tracker that I'm going to start to develop. I'm gonna work on this for the rest of this year. Setting myself up for success. Maybe by the end of the month I'll have it done-ish. But this is a PD tracker. PD tracker. Phenomenal. What do we have here? We have step 1. We're going to pray about where God is leading me in my current season. I'm going to write down specific SMART goals. SMART goals are OKRs. Log the goal into the tracker and make sure to add description, links, and strategy. So I have the growth goal, the summary, the notes, maybe a mentor, the priority, and then the category. The category. So this is going to be really, really good. This could be skills building. This could be on the leadership side of things. This could be, career-wise, business-wise, just knowledge on whatever that I'm trying to think of. Yeah, just being more disciplined in certain areas. It's going to be good. I don't know. It depends on how much I'm going to have. It depends on what's going to be the core focal point. Well, all right, everybody. Thank y'all for this innovation. I just felt the spirit of innovation just going tonight. I feel like we're gonna be doing some writing with this freeform app, which I really do love. If I could figure out how to do the good notes and be able to do good notes 6 on Mac, I think that would be really, really cool. That might be something that'd be really cool. Or showing how I can share my iPad as my second camera. That could be it too. Okay, cool. So that's all we have here today, folks. Shout out to us being an hour and 15 in. Excited about all the things. Next week, it should be interesting. What we're going to talk about. It may be realistic project scheduling. And maybe that. We'll see. But thank y'all for tuning in. And we'll see you soon. Bye.